Hi, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Ask Emily, where today I will be answering all of your questions related to etiquette. Our first question is from Valerie, who said, I totally need hostess gift ideas that aren't a bottle of wine, please. There's obviously nothing wrong with bringing a bottle of wine, but I like to do things that are a little bit more unique. Some of my favorite ideas are things that kind of circulate around the idea of your favorite items. So whether it's going to your favorite bakery and bringing baked goods that you love that the hostess can enjoy the next morning. It can be some coffee from your favorite roastery, bring that. Even something like a game that you love to play at home or a book that you've recently read and loved. I think those all make really nice, unique hostess gifts. Melissa asked, how do I make a party invitation clear that kids are not invited and do it politely? I thought by addressing the adult names on the envelope it was clear, but people still asked if they could bring kids. I think this is perhaps one of the more awkward things and something that I feel like I'm going to be extra conscious of when we have our daughter. But I think there are a couple ways you can go about it. Either the first is a really simple, really subtle way at the bottom of the invite just to say adults only in kind of small script so that nobody's guessing and they just kind of know that it's meant for adults. Or you could even do something a little bit more fun, kind of like turn it into a limerick, something like, while we'd love for the kids to play, at home that night they should stay. Something so that they don't feel as though you're being really crazy about not having kids, but just that it's meant to be adults only. This next question is from Vanessa, who said, what's your advice for staying in touch with old friends from high school, college, etc.? What's the proper etiquette? How often to email and chat? I don't really think there's any proper etiquette when it comes to keeping in touch with people. If it's been 7 months since you've last spoken to someone or 7 years, it doesn't really matter. If you're thinking about someone, I always think it's really nice to write a letter or shoot them a quick email letting them know that you're thinking of them. But another idea, this is something that I stole from a friend and I think it's genius. She will even put in her calendar every 3 months, every 6 months, a little reminder to reach out to someone. And I think that's such a great way to keep in touch without having to think too much. Shannon asked, when hosting guests in your home, what are some traditional yet fun ways to make them feel welcome, such as preparing the guest room, bathroom, etc.? The first time that Jeffrey and I had my parents stay with us in our last apartment, we had gotten a lot of things ready for them, but we had forgotten to go shopping. So we had pretty much nothing in the refrigerator, and it made for a pretty awkward morning the next morning when we were all looking for something for breakfast and there were no options. And luckily it was my parents, so no one really cared, and we went to the store. But ever since then, we've been really diligent about having our home really prepared when we have guests. So that just means having a kitchen that's stocked with good food, things for breakfast, some snacks for throughout the day. And then as far as the room goes, obviously having fresh linens is really nice. You can even make it into a little bit of a hotel experience, like have some nice chocolates or something that is from one of your favorite places in your city, whether it's you know, some coffee, something that they can even bring home with them. As for the guest bathroom, this is something that should, obviously, you want your shower gel, your shampoo, conditioner. You also want to think about things that they might have forgotten at home, like saline solution or a toothbrush. And then lastly, the awkward things that should always be really easy to access. Toilet paper, a plunger, even some tampons. Those are always good things to keep stocked. Deanna asked, Emily, we recently hosted my birthday party, and the night of, we had many last-minute cancellations. Once I posted pictures online, I received messages of, looks like you had a great time. I feel terrible we had to bail considering you had the party catered. It did cost a lot of money and we had so much food left over. So do I tell people ahead of time that we are catering? I feel like that's sort of icky. Help, I don't want to run into this again. This is always an awkward situation when it comes to throwing a party, but I think the most important thing is to set the stage right away. So don't send an evite, don't send a party invitation via Facebook. The most important thing is to send an actual invitation. I think it really just sets the tone. People will know it's a legitimate party that kind of needs to be responded to as such, and not just kind of one of those things where people can respond, maybe, I might show up. With invitations, you either have your email at the bottom, your phone number, then they really feel as though they are committing and they're going to come. And the last thing is, on the invitation, have the times and then let them know that there will be food. You can either say, come hungry, or something like it's being catered by X and X, you know, the place where you're getting the food from, so that people know a little bit more of what to expect. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Ask Emily, and please continue sending me your questions via the comment section on my blog or through social media with the hashtag AskEmily.